Well. 2024 has been a year as we sit here New Year's Eve when this is coming out, and we think about all the things that's happened. And I really can't wait to dive in and look back of the year. I think we feel like we say this all the time: roller coaster.
Yeah, absolutely roller coaster.
Like it's like, oh, it's a good year, but this happened and that happened. Is it possible to stay on a high for a whole year?
No.
You don't think so?
No. It's all about the ebbs and the flows. That's life.
What's ebb mean?
Ebbs and flows?
Yeah.
Something like this.
I never knew what that meant.
Something.
It's
a balance.
I like peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys. Peaks and valleys. That's life. That was this year.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to talk about some of the highlights.
I'll say this though. And this is the all moment. We got closer.
We did get closer. We did.
All right. We'll have that coming up after the intro. All right, everybody. Welcome to another podcast from Six Heart Production, Six Heart Media. You know, it's a beautiful logo designed by yours.
I do. You did not design this logo. I designed the 6HM logo, Six Heart Media Production. I would also love your thoughts, listeners, viewers out there, on our new logo, on our new channel. And just, you know, I'm excited to work more together in 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go all the way back to January. You know, your birthday month was the
best month, obviously. Well, it's still the best month, but they moved Royal Rumble out of January. So
I'll
take that. I'll take that up with WWE.
They moved the Super Bowl out of January. They moved Royal Rumble out of January. What else is moving? Well, your birthday can't move.
I know.
But
it's still
it's a great month. 3 people who are very dear to me. Y'all birthdays 10 days apart. You, my sister, my daughter. Sheesh. The pockets be like, pow, pow, pow. But the smiles be worth it for sure. But I want to go back. Shannon Sharpe kicked off the year with Katt Williams.
Whoa. Katt said, I'm opening that truth door this year. That's what this year is going to be all about. And a lot of shit got revealed.
I want to talk about that because we've talked about this at length, right? We talked about Katt Williams. We talked about, you've watched it probably out of the 80 million views. You probably have 1 million of them. I watched it a couple of times. But what was your thought? I want to ask you a specific question because you are someone who studied and perfected the craft of journalism. You've been doing this since you were 11 years old. You aren't just somebody who went on Amazon, got a microphone, wanted to talk wrestling. No, this is what you've been doing. You've been interviewing senators. You've been, I just want to put you over real quick because this is what you've been doing. We talked about this on the Breaking Through Glass Ceilings episode. What was your thoughts on Shannon Sharpe's response to the trolls when he reminded people that he's not a Barbara Walters, that he's not a journalist, but he's an entertainer and a conversationalist? What was your thoughts?
I appreciated that response because I think people's expectations of him as a journalist were really high for some reason. Like a lot of people, the Katt Williams interview, if you want to call it that, was a lot of like shock value. Like, oh, he's saying controversial things. A lot of people felt like Shannon Sharpe should have asked more follow-up questions to get more of a broader scope on some of the things that Katt Williams was talking about. But again, like, he is a former athlete that was given a platform. Like, he is a great sports analyst from what I hear.
Yes.
And he's a great personality. He's funny. He's entertaining. He's a big personality. And celebrities obviously like to come on his show and they feel comfortable, saying the wildest things that they've never said on other platforms before. But he's, like he said, he's not a Barbara Walters. Like, he is a sports personality that have really good entertaining conversations. That is not the same as an interview or pure journalism. It's just not what that is. And I think the backlash that he got for the lack of, journalistic skills that he had in that interview were really silly. So I think his response was perfect. You don't tune into Shannon Sharpe to get that in-depth, journalistic interview. And that's why we like Shannon Sharpe. And that's why that conversation got so many views, because it was raw. There weren't any limits put on it. It was like, we're drinking alcohol and just speak your truth and I'm going to get it out of you. And that's what he did. And it garnered how many views now? Probably maybe 100 million, I think.
He almost, in all fairness, he's almost at the point where he'll probably make more with his YouTube channel than one of his NFL years.
Oh, absolutely. And I think he's even said it as well. Mm-hmm. Like, he just makes way more money on his YouTube channel.
Where we at?
86 million views. 86
Can I get 1 million? Views. Can we get 1 million for this channel?
Yes.
Like
get
Shannon.
Get us to a million
Shay Shay.
views. Maybe we'll do some more content where we're spilling some secrets.
We'll sit down with some people.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about Shannon Sharpe that, or just in general, right? We hear athletes, like we've seen, you've seen the top athletes, our pod, your girls.
Meg Rapinoe and Super.
Yeah, they have a platform.
A Touch More podcast, new episodes every Wednesday.
There you go. My good brother Kaz is a part of the 7 p.m. in Mellow with one of my favorite basketball players of all time, Carmelo Anthony, a Baltimore legend, another Baltimore legend, Rudy Gay, and then also the great Monica McNutt, who had a year herself with people know she's been doing her thing. Mm-hmm. Now you look at that platform, right? So you have the two athletes, but then you also have the two esteemed journalists in Kaz and Monica. What do you think? And we also got to include Mero. That's Mero, right? Yeah. I get them mixed up sometimes when I'm not. Yeah. But we've got to include him too. But what do you think it is about athletes, and can journalists kind of take back? Like, if you're advising a young journalist, can we kind of take back the reins where we can make celebrities and athletes feel comfortable to give us what they're giving these athletes, what they're giving essentially their peers? Because we saw this with All the Smoke before that, where Allen Iverson would go sit on the couch, where, the late Kobe Bryant, one of the last interviews he did was All the Smoke. Mm-hmm. Is there anything we can do to take back the reins?
I'm going to say no, to be honest with you, only because now, how we consume content is so clickbaity, virally nowadays that I think you need the balance of both. I think 7 p.m. in Brooklyn is doing it perfectly with having the balance of the former athlete personality with the journalism. I think that was like a great balance of doing that. Unless you become, a journalist that has really strong opinions and views that go viral, I don't think it's possible. Yeah. And now it's all about like the fake.
Drop the cup, babe.
It's close to the corner. But no, I think it has to be a balance of both, because at the end of the day, it is awesome to have that former athlete perspective. There's a reason why former athletes become analysts, because they can speak to the game, they can speak to the culture of the game better than me, for what I mean. But I think having the balance, someone to be able to tailor their conversation and moderate the conversation and ask the right questions, I think is needed, and it has to be a balance.
I'm glad you said that, So, I want to move on. We talk about balance, right? We talk about basketball. Mm-hmm. You can't ignore the fact that the WNBA overtook the NBA as far as relevancy this year. And what I mean relevancy, when you see more trending topics, people might not like to hear that, but when you see more trending topics in 2024, it was the WNBA, right? We're going to wrap all of these, subjects into one because they're all important, right? New York Liberty, bringing a championship home to New York. Something, when's the last time that happened? Because I'm thinking the Jets. A
basketball championship?
Just championships in general. Outside the Yankees, we know 2009, but that's still a long time.
That is so
for the Yankees. But basketball was definitely the 70s?
Yeah, it's been a while. And seeing like the WNBA team, the New York Liberty, be the ones to finally bring a championship home was amazing.
And they were always in it, right? Recently, like they came up short the year before, like Cody Rhodes. They came back and they finished the story. But also with that came the rise of one of your favorite people, Big Ellie. Ellie the elephant. We saw the rise of Ellie, and Ellie was just a much a part of this. Not only we seeing what Ellie is doing for the brand of New York basketball, for the brand of New York Liberty, but also for the brand of mascots.
Mascots, WNBA. In a way, Ellie's popularity has been a catalyst to the popularity of the WNBA.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because she was just at a hockey game as in part of their like mascot night or whatever. And if you don't know who she is, you're going to look her up and you're going to say, oh, she's the mascot for the WNBA New York Liberty. And you might just, you know, stay in that thread of being interested in the WNBA. You know, I can go on and on about how much I love Ellie as a mascot, but I think it's so important to like point out so many key things about her as a mascot. Is she's feminine.
Yeah.
A lot of mascots are very masculine. They embody the sport that they represent, and they're tough and they're supposed to be intimidating. But Big Ellie wears a jersey dress. She shout out to the designer Rare Breed from the Bronx. Designed her jersey dress. She wears Jordan. She carries a purse. She dances. She makes men hold her purse while she engages with fans. There are people that go to New York Liberty games to see Big Ellie. That is huge. Like Liberty games were selling out. I watched this past season Liberty tickets skyrocket throughout every game. Tickets went up a little bit more, and a lot of that had to do with the mascot and also obviously the players as well. But seeing such a strong feminine mascot represent the W in that way, you know, everywhere. She was at like red carpets, and she was on
parade.
Best dressed lists, like legit, like best dressed list. This elephant was on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. Like she was everywhere. She just had a State Farm commercial with JJ and Rebecca Lobo on just Christmas Day.
Athletes, right? When you think of State Farm, you think of Chris Paul. You know, I believe also Aaron Rodgers, maybe. But you think of like the top of the top, as they say, the tippity top guys and gals. So, you know, obviously with Rebecca Lobo, a legend in not only...
And a Liberty legend, I believe.
Liberty legend, not only on the court, but also in the booth.
Yep.
So Ellie being there...
Yeah, huge. And it just elevated women in sports. Everyone watches women's sports, all the brands, all the elevation of all of that. I think Ellie plays a really key role in that. And I'm so excited to see how much more she can do in 2025. I remember as the WNBA season this year was winding down, and I was like, I'm gonna miss Ellie, and you were like, Ellie is gonna be booked and busy off season, and she really she really has.
You just know, like,
yeah, she's a star. She is such a star. It's been a pleasure watching women's sports grow this year. It reignited my love for women's wrestling again, also because I have that same energy with women's sports, which is like completely new, that I did for women's wrestling in 2017, 2018 because of the evolution and revolution or whatever that was happening in WWE.
What was your biggest moment, real quick? In WWE
this year?
Yeah.
My girl Chelsea Green.
Hey.
My girl Chelsea Green winning the inaugural United States Championship for the women's division in New York. I was there. Congratulations, Chelsea Green. So just seeing even that, like the women's division of WWE getting two new championships this year, that was huge. The growth of WWE, the visibility. And if we want to bring this back to Big Ellie, like fresh off the championship, she created content with Bianca Belair because they both have a signature braid, and that was god, like I almost hyperventilated. Like I love seeing crossover things that I love come together. Very off topic and random. One of my favorite shows, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Very obscure show. It's one of the longest running TV series to this date, and it's doing a crossover with Abbott Elementary, which is also featured. That show takes place in Philadelphia, so they're doing a crossover episode in a couple weeks, and oh my god, I'm so excited! So I love moments like that. Mm-hmm. So seeing Big Ellie on WWE's platforms, and Bianca Belair on WNBA platforms, like it's just been a collision that I'm like so excited for.
I want to stick with the WNBA. Sabrina Ionescu. Yes. That's it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's Ionescu.
Okay. I'm sorry. You said I said it right.
I thought you did. I could even be saying it wrong.
I apologize, Sabrina, as I work on that. But the biggest thing about her, not only the shot heard around the world, Game 3 of the WNBA Finals, when she gave the lead to the New York Liberty, but also her own signature shoe, the second most worn shoe in the NBA. Now, here's the thing, right? I've always been one to say, and I always love that Kobe Bryant, Chris Paul, and so many others have supported the WNBA. But it's also another thing with visibility, putting your money where your mouth is. Wearing her shoe, for that to be the second most worn shoe, tells you, one, it's comfortable and it looks good, because playing basketball, you're not going to play right if you don't have a good shoe on. And I know, just walking around, like there's a pair of KDs somebody gifted me. It's like, hey, here you go. I don't like the way they fit on my heel. And guess what? I wore them a couple times and it was like blue and gold. It was perfect. Had a polo on, a nice fitted. Yankee fitted at that. But it wasn't comfortable. And then I had the black and orange KDs. They just wasn't comfortable. But you put some Jordans on my feet, them 12s, they comfortable, feel like heaven. The ones, some people don't like ones. I like ones.
I love ones.
Yeah. So for Sabrina to be having a shoe that a lot of NBA players are wearing on the court, I think it's just another big thing. It's great for the game.
It is. And I think we talked about this before. It says a lot about where we are right now. And just Nike just understanding the assignment when it comes to representing the right athletes and making a really good basketball shoe and making it to where men want to wear it as well as women. So I hope we see more of that. I hope we see more female athletes creating their own basketball shoe and seeing the crossover between the NBA and the WNBA. We also seen a lot more of that support this year as well.
Yeah.
NBA players wearing WNBA jerseys, them going to the games, the sister cities of WNBA team, NBA teams doing a little bit more cross collaboration, a little bit more cross promotion there as well. I went into a lot of deep dives this year on the history of the WNBA because I'm a very much a new fan. I'm gonna put that out there, and it's a very new brand. Mm-hmm. Especially compared to the NBA. So there's not a lot of history, but it's also a deep history. Yeah. Because it's one of those leagues where we're constantly fighting. We're constantly just clawing at getting just the bare minimum. And I remember reading a lot and hearing a lot of people say, like, without the support of the NBA, like the WNBA needs the NBA to at least endorse them just a little bit. And I think this year it came effortlessly because I think the men realized, like, oh shit, like this is huge. I'm not even going to mention the ratings of WNBA games breaking records, and the NBA ratings maybe not so much. And there's a reason for that. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's take a quick break. We're going to refill because we got a few more things we're going to talk about as we look back at 2024. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss it to a preview of what they can catch you on WWE Meets Pop Culture.
Hi everyone, it's me, Queen PR, one half of those wrestling girls, and welcome back to another episode of Where Wrestling Meets Pop Culture. And this is the show where you find out who the current Up Down champion is. This is not the show where we speculate when Mercedes is returning to WWE. This is not the place for rumors and innuendo. This is the show where you find out where all your wrestlers are up to outside of the ring. Just have to have a moment for the It family one video that they post, and it's MJF saying that he's just trying to make, more dating rumors between him and Liv Morgan. So I want to shout out whoever is Jade Cargill's image consultant, her brand manager, whoever is working with Jade Cargill, she's on it because she's always wearing the next top designer.
And we're back. So we talked about sports. Now let's talk a little bit music. I'm not as much of a music person the way I used to be back in the day, but
because you're old.
Wow.
I'm just saying, a lot of the new music is not that good, so that's why we're more listening to our older music. Okay. But then something happens that you cannot not talk about, like Kendrick and Drake's beef. Oh. Like, that was so wild. Like, people were talking about that, like, that don't even listen to hip hop. I was like, did you hear Kendrick's new song? I was like, oh.
Right. And you brought up a lot of good points in previous episodes. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that. But when you talk about 2024, when you look back at this year, 10 years from now, you're going to have to mention that music beef. And I'll just close out this real quick with say, is this the most talked about music? When's the last time we had a music beef talked about this much?
I'm going to have to say, just from a hip hop head from New York City, I would have to say Jay-Z and Nas, where it was just so divisive, where every conversation you got into, at some point it was going to end up like, who's better, Jay-Z or Nas, Jay-Z or Nas? And then you had like the ones over the years, like Drake got into a beef with Meek Mill.
And that seemed some quick compared to this.
It really did. And also like Drake demolished Meek. So it was like end of conversation. But this one, because at this point Drake is so popular, he's I think he's not even a part of the rap community.
Yeah.
I think the last 10 years he's cemented himself as just a part of like pop music royalty. So to see like Kendrick be such a hip hop guy and question Drake's position in the culture and Drake really go and prove that he's not a part of the culture was very shocking this year. But also very entertaining. We got some really good music out of it. Shout out to K. Dot. I still listen to Euphoria and Not Like Us at least once a day. But that was definitely up there with the biggest moments of the year.
I'm glad you brought up Jay-Z and Nas because I always love hearing your perspective. I'm 10th grade in Baltimore. I remember that, and at that time I was like, oh man, Nas got him, this, that, and the other. And it was believe it or not, that was the period I didn't like Jay-Z because my god brother Mike, shout out to Mike, has a way of, and this is gonna be a pause moment, but when he likes something, he has a way of forcing it down your throat that you just can't stand it, right? I told you about Paul Pierce. I can't stand Paul Pierce because of this dude, right? I can't stand the Boston Celtics. That's how it was with Jay-Z and me until I got the album and I heard Takeover. And I was like, oh, okay, now I'm a Jay fan. Whatever. Yeah, let's play it. Because I got tired of that goddamn Izzo. And I know you don't like singles, whatever. But like hearing that, and I'm like, yeah, because like when you brought up Drake and Meek Mill, I remember one of my boys who's a journalist, shout out to Tyler, he's from Philly. And I remember he went and had a viral tweet that said, man, get out of here. Don't come back to Philly, man. And I was like, ooh, that's how bad Meek. Yeah, but then now, Drake got caught. Got. But I want to talk about a beautiful song. The song that I put you onto this year.
Go ahead, finish that lie.
All right, it's a song you introduced it to. That's Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga. Because I like when I'm doing this list, right? I'm preparing this show. I'm looking up, okay, biggest stories 2024. What can we talk about? What haven't we talked about? That was in there. It was like in a lot of lists, like, no, moment for 2024. What makes that song such a key point of this year?
I'm so glad you asked because I love Die With a Smile is such a beautiful song. And it kind of goes back to what I was joking with before about how we're old and we don't listen to music as much as we used, like the current music as much as we used to because it's just bad. But Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars just reminded you about timeless good music, like a good story, good lyrics, good performance. The concept of it all, the music video, and even how they perform it live is still very much on brand to the concept of the song. And I think that's what I love most about it, because it was a slow burn. When it first came out, it wasn't on like a lot of lists. And then now, even recently in the holiday season, it was the only non-Christmas song in the top 10 for like 2 weeks in a row. So it was a slow burn because it's timeless. It's just really good music. It got nominated for a Grammy, which I was really hoping it did, because it was such a good song. And I think that's what makes it a great song. It's just good quality music by good quality artists that love the craft and what they're doing and the art form of it all. But yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful song.
You know what I miss? Getting CDs for Christmas.
Yes, me too.
We talked about this off the air, but sorry, did I hit you? We talked about this off the air about how cool it was getting CDs, and that's like one of those, like, you imagine how many sales that would have generated just because it was such a beautiful song. And I'm glad that you shared that with me, because me, I love good music. I love real instruments. Shout out to the editors and the beat makers and whatnot.
But it's something different when you hear a song that was made with real instruments in a studio with real vocals and that pure art. Like, you can feel it. And Die With a Smile is one of those songs.
I want to stay right there real quick, because as you talking, something came to mind. Tiny Desk concerts. Was there one that jumped out?
Really good
mind?
ones this year.
You already know which one was my
Juvenile.
favorite.
Like, that was epic as fuck. Doshi.
Yeah.
You know who I really fell in love with this year, which is so like off the box, was Sabrina Carpenter.
Okay.
I love that little white girl. She is witty. She's funny. She has my kind of sense of humor, and she's super talented. Super talented. Her tour was phenomenal. I may or may not have watched a full version on YouTube. Thank you for whoever uploaded it. But she is really talented. I think she's gonna be the one to carry the torch moving forward, of just that pure like musician type vibe, that like art, like her concept of love, of like what her brand is. It's just so cohesive, and I really like her a lot.
Well, speaking of somebody who ain't ready to hand over a torch or anything, she just keeps evolving. She keeps being the greatest. Beyonce. Now, I know we talked about the halftime performance, but I really want to talk about the fact that in 2024, Beyonce dropped the country music album and had everybody hold down, or whatever you call it. Mm-hmm. Like, you imagine when we was younger, 20 years ago, right? We in school. You know how much we would have got made fun of for listening to country music? Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine it now. Like, it felt very white.
Yeah. Only way you was listening to me, only way I would have listened to country music, only been one way. If it was like a WWE pay-per-view theme. Mm-hmm. But Beyonce came out, I said, okay. Boom. Had us all listening. And then dominated the halftime. But just the album, what was your thoughts when you heard it was coming out? Because I knew you was on it before anybody else knew Beyonce coming out with a country album. What was your thoughts? Did you know you would be invested, or you was like, whatever she got, I'm here for it?
I was going to give it a try. Okay. Because Renaissance was also a very unique Beyonce album as well. Like, it was different than a lot of the other projects that she put out. Also, we knew that it was a part of this trilogy that she was experimenting with. So we knew it was going to be something different.
Talk about that. What's the trilogy?
So Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Beyonce's releasing a trilogy of albums, and Cowboy Carter was Act 2. So Act 1 was like that dance, kind of very much like celebrating the queer community and culture. And then the second
That's Renaissance?
act, yes. Okay. And then the second act was Cowboy Carter, which was cowboy music.
No, that's exactly what
I guess you could say it. Country music.
We in Texas.
So I was excited to hear the album regardless. Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages, the two singles that she released before the album dropped, were very different. They had to grow on me, because I was like, I'm not used to this. And now they're like, some of my most played songs of the year. But even just leading into the album release, she released that Super Bowl commercial where she tries to break the internet by doing like really outlandish things. I love that commercial. And then her actually announcing Cowboy Carter. And then you got to think about everything else because Beyonce is such a machine that came out this year surrounding Cowboy Carter that was very Americana. The whiskey, Sir Davis whiskey, was on brand with Cowboy Carter as well. Her collaboration with Levi's, her performing at the NFL halftime show for Christmas, it all kind of fed into each other. She released a perfume as well. And I hear that January 14th, she's announcing something that's supposed to be a tour. I'm hoping it's Act 3 or some visuals from one of the albums. But yeah, I was very excited for this version of Beyonce, the country version, and I'm excited to see what Act 3 has to bring because she takes risks. She's still evolving as an artist, even 20 plus years in the business. So I was very excited for Cowboy Carter, and I still have it on my rotation.
Hey, I love it. Like Beyonce really could say, you know what, I'm done. I'm ready to go sit home, play with my children. But the fact that
shout out to Blue. She also had a great year as well, starring in her first movie, performing with Beyonce. Love you, girl.
Look, I love to see her getting these opportunities, right? We see people from all other cultures, nepotism or not, do this. Do it. Real quick, I want to touch on that real quick. Bronny James made his NBA debut this year. Him and LeBron James making history. I was there in the building
in LA.
In LA. Wow. And you told me to go. Shout out to you buying me the tickets. I really, really appreciate that. You know, you forget you do so much, which I'm always appreciative of. But you was just like, no, here, boom, here's the tickets. I'm like, oh, okay. But you know, being able to see LeBron James and Bronny James, you know, second quarter, they both entered the game together. The Lakers have like a lead, not so big, comfortable, but, you know, coming in with a new coach and JJ Redick, they was like, you know, we're going to try for the second quarter. Lakers will win the game the first time they won a home opener in the LeBron James era with the team, I believe. So that was amazing. You know, again, people could talk about nepotism and all this.
I don't care when nepotism is done, when it's like a black family, black and brown family, because white people do it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And more so. So the fact that we're in positions to do it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, you want to be able to position yourself to do better for your kids, to give your kids better. And, you know, Bronny James, at the end of the day, he better than me. He better than probably 90% of the people, 99.99% of the people watching this. So go play in the NBA.
You're not better than me, but
well, I don't think you're eligible for the NBA.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So.
I took myself out. I wanted to give.
Okay. Yeah, but shout out to him. What a year. During the summer, they announced that Mike Tyson will be taking on Jake Paul. Now, here's the funny thing about this. Can I tell this story?
Which one?
How we had we got some food. We was ready to watch it. We watched SmackDown. Then we fell asleep.
We?
Yeah, we fell asleep before the boxing match. Before that particular fight, we fell asleep. You fell asleep too.
Okay, I'm gonna let you have that.
On a rare occasion, I fell asleep first.
Okay.
Did you see it live?
I saw more than you saw.
What did you see? You can get away with that because I didn't see anything.
I saw what I needed to see.
Oh, so what you said is you saw Mike Tyson's ass?
That I saw set, unfortunately. Live? Maybe. Mike.
Oh boy. But what a time. Mike Tyson did not win, unfortunately. But
that shit was a work.
Right. I was just to say, in 2024, did we expect to be talking about a Mike Tyson fight?
No, and it's so sad too because I am a Mike Tyson fan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I grew up in the 90s. I remember his fights being huge events. Even when the fight would last like 2 seconds, but it was such a big thing.
Did your parents host the Tyson fights?
Sometimes, yeah. I know they ordered the fights, and I know it was like a big deal.
Like the parties?
And the surrounding. Yeah. So I kind of grew up with him being a WWE fan during the Attitude Era. Yeah. I was so excited that he was a part of it. Very long story short, I always wanted Mike Tyson to keep his reputation as like the baddest man on the planet. Like I didn't want anything to ever get in the way of that. He had that match with I want to say Roy Jones Jr. A few years ago. And I was nervous because I didn't want him to look bad. And he fucking looked amazing. Like, if anything, the other fighter looked like really like, oh, no. So I was like, okay, yeah, he still got it. He's still on top. I want him to go out on top. And then this match, first of all, I think Jake Paul dominating in this sport just makes a mockery of it. I think it's going so downhill that they have to go. It kind of speaks to what we talked about before earlier in this show with that need for that viral moment in certain things nowadays. Like you have to have that or it's just never going to succeed in this day and age. And Jake Paul being the one that's kind of revitalizing boxing because he's polarizing, whether you like him or not. And he is a trained boxer. Like he takes the sport very seriously, but I just felt like this match just shows you how far like boxing has fell in popularity where we have to have this like kind of like, clickbaity type match. And I knew that they were going to make a lot of money and I knew that there was a possibility that Mike would lose and I honestly believe this in my whole heart that match was fixed. I feel like they paid Mike Tyson a lot of money to lose this match because the future of boxing depended on it because Jake Paul is about to carry that sport, unfortunately.
I said it.
And they're like, we need to get him over. Everything is wrestling. We need to get Jake Paul over. Let's throw Mike Tyson his money, let him lose, and we'll keep it moving. And it was just really sad to see. But then when you're Netflix, you're like, oh shit, look how much money we made.
And remember I said that in the beginning when they would announce it, we was, like we do talk about whatever. I have best conversations with you, so I know. But I said he gonna put that young kid over. And some things you just know. Like he's gonna put the young kid over.
There was no way Jake Paul was losing.
Yeah.
Because also you have to think about it, because I think about everything in wrestling. There was never gonna be a rematch. So it was almost like the tired old veteran had to lose to move forward, because if Mike Tyson won, Jake Paul would definitely want a rematch because he's a boxer, and that wasn't going to happen. So it was more just like, okay, this is the one shot. Let's get as many eyeballs. Let's make as much money. Let's throw Mike Tyson $20+ million fucking dollars, and let's have this spectacle and then move on.
And you said everything is wrestling. It goes back to it because that's the thing that boxing was late to. Understanding, like, we need to know why people want to fight. As the media evolved, as we got more in tune, as we got more content, as we had more access, right? That's what Floyd Mayweather did. And what people fail to realize, Floyd Mayweather's appearance at WrestleMania 24 in Orlando was the changing of his career. Jim Ross coined the term Floyd Money Mayweather. After that, he stopped being Pretty Boy Floyd to Floyd Money Mayweather, and he would sell the fight. He learned that from the WWE powers that be, and that's the reason where he would have these things that would come on TV, these 24-hour access, and you'd be like, wait a minute, like Canelo. Before Canelo became a big deal, I remember I was watching my cousin ask, he's like, we might witness history, Brian. Canelo might beat him. The fight happens, Mayweather dominates. Wasn't a knockout fighter, but he dominated. I remember going to work that Monday, my boy Aaron was like, man, if anything, we should give props to Mayweather for making us believe, So you gotta sell the fight. And the Paul brothers, that's what they did. As we one person people also want to talk about the robbery of the Super Bowl. My Ravens fell short in the AFC Championship game. Now you remember we was in Tampa, Florida. And the whole week it was talking as we was getting ready for the Royal Rumble. That Sunday was the AFC Championship game. I couldn't wait to get back to Baltimore. As a matter of fact, you was getting ready to get on a plane. I remember talking to you. You was getting ready to get on a plane. I'm telling you, I love you. Safe flight. And then I'm getting ready to sit back and I'm hoping my Ravens are going. Only for the idiot Travis Kelce to kick the ball while Justin Tucker's warming up. And then camera shot after camera shot on your favorite artist, Taylor Swift.
No.
Do we have to have more? Can we leave Taylor Swift for 2024? That's what my question.
She's too big of a star. I do wish the NFL would stop focusing so much on her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like, okay, we get it. She goes to games. Like, let's move on.
Yeah, and that's what we're gonna do. I just, you know what also happened this year? O.J. Simpson died.
He did.
Yeah, and you remember the BET Awards? Do you remember the backlash of people getting upset that they honored him amongst the celebrity deaths?
It was weird that they honored him, though.
Okay.
I mean, like, what he's known for at this point, and then they omitted a lot of other artists.
That's the point right there.
I think that's where it's like, okay, so we chose O.J. Simpson and not these other people. Is weird.
Yeah, but it's always that loophole. And I'll just say, the loophole is that he was found innocent or not guilty. Now, you and I did the rabbit hole this year.
He's not, but though he was later
found responsible. I'm just going by the book. I'm not. Don't get mad at me.
I'm not getting mad.
Because I saw that look. I'm like, oh boy, I'm in a doghouse. I ain't do nothing. I'm not defending OJ. But I'm saying that's always going to be a legal loophole when people want to do stuff. Like if you don't remove him from records or don't remove him from Hall of Fames. You know what I mean? Like that's the unfortunate thing because they can always go back to that. And I remember we went down, you read some books, I read some books, we watched some things. How the hell did he get found innocent or not guilty? That jury.
Wild.
Yeah. But what a year 2024 has been. I would go there, but I'm like, the look you gonna give me, like, don't do it. Don't do it.
Politics was politics this year. Let's put it that way. We have a new president-elect.
Yeah.
We almost witnessed history with Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
I am genuinely terrified in the future of American democracy. And I'm just gonna leave it at that and just put America in 2025 in my prayers and just hope that it's not as bad as it seems. You have to end this on a more positive note than that.
I can't even say no Diddy because I was gonna say we gotta just say it.
Oh my god! Can no more of my fucking people I thought I idolized come out as being fucking trash in 2025? Can we leave that in 2024? Because that has been heartbreaking.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing about 2025, and we talked a lot about this earlier, the bit about 2024 is the evolution of women in sports, media, and leadership. And that's the thing that's, something to be proud of. The fact that you have men wearing a woman WNBA superstar's shoe on an NBA court. The fact that you have the WNBA taking over, right? The fact that you have more women referees in the NFL, in the NBA. I want to see women umpires. Come on, baseball, catch up. The fact you've always had. You knew there was like women owners. Shout out to Jeannie Buss of the Los Angeles Lakers. She studied the business very much so. Like a person that we love is Stephanie McMahon. She studied the business and became an owner. Like when LeBron. I
wonder if they know of each other, if they're friends, because they probably have more in common than a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
Jeannie Buss and Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, because especially with their fathers who were like in love with their craft.
And she basically beat her brothers for control of the company. She was the right person.
One of these days, I'm gonna get you to watch. Winning Time.
I don't know about Winning Time, but I did watch. The Legacy of the Lakers.
I know.
Doc on Hulu, and that was really good.
It was really good. But Winning Time.
Family, dynasties.
I know.
All that. And that Lakers doc had all that in there.
Yeah. Especially throughout the years. And then you see why it's the greatest franchise in NBA sports. That's another bad thing that happened this year. The Celtics retook the lead. Sports was not sporting this year. Except your Liberty. I'm sorry, you're right. Your
Women's
Liberty.
Sports was top notch.
Yeah, but baseball, you had the Dodgers win the World Series, which I was happy about, but the Orioles didn't get there. And my Christmas wish was not granted, so I'm very, very devastated. But that's it.
Thank you, Beyonce, though.
Yeah, well,
she made Christmas everything it needed to be.
Well, yeah, but see, the Christmas gift I wanted, I didn't get. That was Corbin Burns. You know, but you're right. Shout out to Beyonce. So much that my guy Lamar Jackson performed well.
He did.
Yeah. But any final thoughts as we get ready to close the year and say Happy New Year to everybody?
I want to thank everyone who has supported Queen PR this year, no matter what it was. If it was those wrestling girls, 6HM, or anything.
UNPWI,
yes.
3 years in a row.
That was phenomenal. Anyone that has supported me, anyone who has advocated for women's sports this year, let's bring that energy and more in 2025.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. You know, shout out to everybody. I appreciate all your support. This has been a very up and down year. The highs, they was high, but boy, you know, there were some lows. I had some lows, you know, without a doubt. But I'm so grateful to have an amazing partner right here by my side who always supports and, you know, it's essentially been a dream. Something, you know, trust me, fellas, when they say delayed is not denied, trust me, it's true. You know, so I want to thank you for being you.
Thank you.
Publicly, you know what I mean? I'll never, ever, never take you for granted. And I'm very excited about 2025, and I can't wait to do this in December of 2025 and, you know, bigger and better in which way we're doing this now.
Yeah. Same. Thank you for always supporting me and being right there. I love that we got to work more together this year.
Yeah.
And I hope that comes more and more next year.
It's crazy. Shout out I'm gonna give it a huge shout out to the good bro, the good sis, Bianca and Montez, because they helped kick this off. They don't know they did, but the love in WWE, we started the year off.
We recapped that, and it is still performing well. And
shout out to their team for sharing our video on their Instagram.
Yes, that was good shit.
Yeah. So until the next time, folks, Happy New Year. Go into 2025 with a smile. And look, Queen PR told me she got some advice for y'all coming up. So make sure you stay tuned to this channel. Check it out. Check out all the videos. Hit the subscribe button. Share it with your friends. I promise you, you will not regret it. Till the next time. So long, everybody.